7 things that don't make sense after 60. As we cross into our 60s, we enter a new phase of life. It's a time for reflection, for appreciating the wisdom and insight that come with age, and for letting go of things that no longer serve us. While every stage of life has its challenges and rewards, the 60s often mark a time of greater clarity. By now, many people have lived through enough experiences to recognize that certain concerns, habits, and attitudes that once seemed so important no longer make much sense. Priorities shift, and we become more focused on what brings true meaning and fulfillment. In this article, we'll explore 7 things that tend to lose their significance after 60. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. Chasing trends. In our youth, and even into middle age, there is often a pressure to stay in the loop with the latest trends, whether it be fashion, technology, or even lifestyle changes. The bombardment of advertisements, social media influencers, and the latest must-have items can create a sense of urgency to conform. We might find ourselves buying into the idea that wearing the latest style, using the newest phone, or following the current diet will somehow elevate our lives or make us more socially acceptable. But after 60, many people start to see through the illusion. They realize that trends are designed to be temporary and that chasing them is often a never-ending cycle. You buy into one trend only to find it outdated months later, replaced by something else. This pattern becomes not only exhausting, but also a drain on both financial resources and mental energy. In this stage of life, comfort, quality, and personal preference take precedence. Many older adults develop a more defined sense of their own style, whether in clothing, home decor, or lifestyle choices, that reflects who they are rather than what society dictates. Instead of worrying about whether their clothes are in fashion, they prioritize how they feel in them. Is it comfortable? Does it suit their personal aesthetic? Does it make them feel confident? This shift in mindset also extends beyond material goods. Trends in fitness, for example, which often promote extreme workouts or fad diets, no longer hold the same appeal. Instead, many older adults focus on maintaining a healthy body in a sustainable way, choosing activities that they enjoy and that support their long-term well-being, rather than following the latest get-fit-quick craze. Moreover, the values of minimalism and intentional living often come to the forefront. Many people in their 60s start to embrace the idea that less is more. They recognize that accumulating more things doesn't lead to more happiness. In fact, it often leads to clutter, both physical and mental. Decluttering becomes not just about getting rid of unnecessary stuff, but about making room for what truly matters. In essence, after 60, the realization dawns that chasing trends is a fleeting pursuit. Instead, people focus on building a life filled with lasting joy, contentment, and purpose, qualities that no trend can provide. 2. Competing with others. Competition can drive us in our earlier years, whether in our careers, personal lives, or social circles. There's often a desire to keep up with the Joneses or to measure our success against that of others, whether it's the size of our home, the prestige of our job title, or even our children's accomplishments. We can easily fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to those around us. This can create unnecessary stress and lead to feelings of inadequacy, even when we've achieved a great deal. However, by the time most people reach 60, a significant shift in perspective occurs. The urge to compete with others diminishes as they begin to understand that true happiness isn't found in outdoing someone else. It comes from within, from knowing who you are and being content with that person. You realize that everyone has their own journey, and comparing your path to someone else's is both unfair and unproductive. At 60, many people have already achieved the major milestones they once aspired to, whether that's advancing in a career, raising a family, or reaching financial stability. And if those milestones haven't been reached, there's often a growing acceptance that life doesn't always go according to plan. Rather than feeling the need to compete, people in this stage of life tend to focus more on what brings them peace and fulfillment. This is also a time when the idea of success is redefined. In our younger years, success is often tied to external achievements, wealth, career status, social recognition. But after 60, many people redefine success in more personal terms. It's no longer about how you stack up against others, but about how you feel in your own life. Success might be measured in the strength of your relationships, the time you spend pursuing hobbies you love, or the peace you feel in your daily routine. What's more, the experience of life's ups and downs, whether it's the loss of loved ones, health challenges, or other hardships, often brings a sense of humility. It becomes clear that everyone is dealing with their own struggles, and competing with others based on outward appearances starts to feel trivial and meaningless. Instead of competition, there's often a greater focus on empathy and connection, on building relationships rather than rivalries. In short, after 60, competing with others feels like a game that no longer needs to be played. The real victory is in finding peace with yourself and living a life that brings you personal satisfaction, regardless of what others are doing. 3. Holding grudges. In younger years, holding on to anger or resentment can feel justified. Someone wrongs you, and the natural response might be to harbor a grudge, waiting for them to apologize or for some form of retribution. We might convince ourselves that holding on to this anger somehow protects us or gives us power. However, as the years go by, many people come to realize that grudges don't serve anyone. They're a weight we carry, a burden that only drags us down. By the time you reach 60, you've likely encountered enough life experience to see the futility of holding grudges. People make mistakes, relationships fall apart, disappointments happen. But holding on to anger or bitterness doesn't change the past, and it certainly doesn't make the present any better. In fact, it often does the opposite. It keeps us stuck in a negative cycle, unable to fully enjoy the present because we're so focused on past wrongs. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is a gift you give yourself. It doesn't mean that you condone someone's hurtful actions or that you forget the pain they caused. Rather, it means that you release the hold that anger and resentment have over you. You free yourself from the toxic emotions that can cloud your mind and heart. After 60, many people begin to prioritize their own peace of mind, realizing that life is too short to hold on to negativity. Additionally, by this stage of life, many people have faced enough personal challenges to recognize their own fallibility. We've all made mistakes and we've all hurt others, sometimes unintentionally, sometimes in ways we deeply regret. Holding grudges can feel hypocritical when we consider our own imperfections. Extending forgiveness to others becomes easier when we understand that we too are imperfect and worthy of forgiveness. There's also a greater understanding that relationships are fragile. Whether it's with family members, friends, or romantic partners, holding grudges can destroy connections that might otherwise be healed. After 60, many people become more focused on preserving and nurturing meaningful relationships rather than allowing anger to drive a wedge between themselves and others. Letting go of grudges doesn't mean allowing people to walk all over you, of course. It simply means that you prioritize your own emotional well-being and peace over holding on to negative emotions. In doing so, you create space for more joy, love, and connection in your life, things that become increasingly important as you age. 4. Overworking. For many years, society promotes the idea that our worth is tied to our productivity. From the time we enter the workforce, there is often an unspoken expectation that success means working long hours, climbing the corporate ladder, and sacrificing personal time for the sake of career advancement. It's easy to get caught up in this mentality, believing that the more we work, the more valuable we are. However, after 60, many people begin to question this narrative. By this stage, they've likely spent decades working, and the realization sets in that there's more to life than just work. The things that bring the most fulfillment, family, friendships, hobbies, and even simple moments of relaxation, often have little to do with professional accomplishments. This isn't to say that work loses all meaning. Many people find great purpose in their careers, and some choose to continue working well into their later years. But the idea of overworking, of sacrificing personal well being for the sake of a job, begins to lose its appeal. At 60, the focus often shifts from achieving more to finding balance. People begin to value their time differently, understanding that time spent with loved ones or pursuing personal passions is just as important, if not more so, than time spent in the office. Moreover, after years of hard work, many people have already achieved the financial stability they once sought. The drive to earn more becomes less about necessity and more about choice. Financial priorities often shift from accumulating wealth to enjoying the fruits of one's labor, whether that means traveling, spending time with grandchildren, or simply having the freedom to slow down and enjoy life at a more leisurely pace. There's also a growing understanding that overworking can take a toll on both physical and mental health. Many older adults have experienced or witnessed the consequences of burnout. Stress-related illnesses, strained relationships, and a sense of emptiness that comes from prioritizing work over everything else. After 60, the desire for a healthier, more balanced life often outweighs the need to overachieve in the workplace. In essence, after 60, overworking no longer seems like a badge of honor. Instead, people start to value balance, peace, and the freedom to spend their time on things that truly bring joy and fulfillment. 5. Worrying about other people's opinions. Throughout much of life, there's an ingrained tendency to worry about how we are perceived by others, whether it's family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers. Many people spend a significant amount of time and energy trying to fit into societal expectations, fearing judgment or disapproval. We might choose careers, make lifestyle decisions, or even alter our appearances based on how we think others will view us. However, by the time we reach 60, there's often a powerful shift in perspective. The need for external validation fades, and many people begin to prioritize their own opinions over those of others. This isn't to say that they become selfish or stop caring about the feelings of loved ones, but rather they develop a deeper sense of self-confidence. They know who they are, and they're no longer willing to bend to the whims of other people's judgments. One of the greatest gifts of aging is the freedom that comes from caring less about what others think. Many people in their 60s have faced enough life experiences, whether triumphs or setbacks, that have taught them the importance of living authentically. They realize that they can't control how others perceive them, and trying to do so is a waste of energy. Instead, they focus on living in alignment with their own values and desires. This newfound freedom can manifest in many ways. Some people embrace hobbies or interests that they might have avoided in their younger years because they were seen as unconventional or not respectable. Others may choose to dress in a way that reflects their true personality rather than following societal norms. Many older adults also find that they're more willing to speak their minds, no longer afraid of how their opinions will be received. What's more, as you age, you begin to see that other people are often too caught up in their own lives to spend much time judging you. This realization brings a sense of liberation. You no longer feel the need to impress or conform, and instead you focus on what brings you happiness and fulfillment. Ultimately, after 60, worrying about other people's opinions feels like a burden that is finally lifted. You have the freedom to live as your true self, embracing the person you've become without fear of judgment. 6. Being too busy. For much of life, being busy is worn like a badge of honor. There's a cultural emphasis on productivity, on packing as much as possible into each day. Whether it's work commitments, social obligations, or personal projects, many people take pride in having full schedules, equating busyness with success and purpose. However, after 60, many people begin to see that constant busyness doesn't necessarily equate to happiness or fulfillment. In fact, being too busy often prevents us from truly enjoying life. When our days are filled with back-to-back activities, we lose the ability to be present, to savor the moment, and to appreciate the simple pleasures that life has to offer. At this stage of life, there's often a shift in priorities. Rather than valuing a packed schedule, many people begin to value unstructured time, time to relax, to reflect, and to simply be. Whether it's spending a leisurely morning with a cup of coffee, taking a long walk, or enjoying a quiet afternoon with a good book, these moments of stillness and peace become more important than the constant hustle. There's also a growing recognition that being busy isn't the same as being productive. After years of juggling work, family, and social obligations, many older adults realize that true productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. They start to focus on quality over quantity, choosing activities that bring joy, fulfillment, or a sense of purpose rather than filling their time with meaningless tasks. In short, after 60, the need to be too busy fades away. Instead, people begin to prioritize peace, relaxation, and mindful living, recognizing that life's most meaningful moments often happen in the quiet spaces between activities. 7. Fearing change. Change is a constant in life, but for many people, it is also one of the most daunting experiences. Throughout our younger years, we are often taught to seek stability, to find security in routines, and to maintain the status quo whenever possible. Career paths, relationships, and life plans are meticulously mapped out, and any deviation from these plans can feel unsettling. Whether it's the fear of leaving a job, moving to a new city, or ending a relationship, change can provoke anxiety and a sense of losing control over life's direction. As we grow older, however, our relationship with change tends to evolve. By the time we reach our 60s, many people have experienced enough unexpected twists and turns in life to understand that change is not just inevitable. It's often a necessary part of growth and adaptation. While in our younger years, change may have felt like a disruption or even a threat, after 60, we start to recognize that it is often the doorway to new opportunities, perspectives, and even deeper levels of happiness. The fear of change slowly transforms into a more nuanced understanding of its role in shaping a fulfilling life. This transformation in attitude often stems from the realization that by 60, we have already weathered countless changes, some good, some challenging, but all of them survivable. Whether it's children growing up and leaving home, the transition into retirement, or the physical changes that come with aging, people in their 60s have seen how life's shifts often bring new freedoms and possibilities. After decades of living, the once feared unknowns become less intimidating because we have developed the resilience to face them head on. We understand that change, while sometimes difficult, is also a catalyst for renewal. It allows us to reimagine what our lives can look like moving forward. In fact, one of the key lessons that many people learn after 60 is that resisting change is often more stressful than embracing it. Holding on to what no longer serves us, whether it's an unfulfilling job, a stagnant relationship, or outdated beliefs, can create emotional and mental strain. It's in this period of life that many people begin to see that clinging to the past out of fear of change only inhibits their ability to live fully. Letting go, while scary at first, often brings a profound sense of freedom. There's also a growing realization that change doesn't always have to be dramatic to be impactful. Small shifts, whether in routine, mindset, or lifestyle can lead to significant improvements in well being. For example, some people in their 60s might decide to pick up a new hobby they never had time for before, or they might choose to downsize their living space to simplify their lives. These types of changes, while relatively minor, can foster a sense of personal growth and fulfillment that might have been missing when life was more rigidly structured. Additionally, after 60, many people develop a greater capacity to focus on what they can control rather than what they can't. There's an acceptance that while we cannot always dictate the circumstances of our lives, we can choose how we respond to them. This mindset allows us to approach change with a sense of empowerment rather than fear. By letting go of the need to control every aspect of life, people in their 60s often discover a newfound ability to adapt with grace and flexibility, navigating life's transitions with more ease than they might have in their younger years. One of the most significant changes that many people face after 60 is the transition into retirement. For some, this shift can be unsettling, as it may feel like stepping into uncharted territory after decades of a structured work life. However, for many, retirement represents an exciting opportunity to redefine their daily lives. It's a chance to pursue passions, volunteer, travel, or simply enjoy the freedom to live without the constraints of a 9 to 5 schedule. While the idea of leaving behind a career may have once seemed intimidating, it often becomes a gateway to a more relaxed and fulfilling phase of life. Moreover, by the time we reach 60, the changes that once seemed daunting begin to be viewed as part of the natural ebb and flow of life. People often gain a deeper appreciation for the seasons of life, recognizing that just as spring follows winter, new beginnings often come after times of upheaval. This cyclical understanding of life's changes helps many older adults to approach transitions with a sense of optimism, even when faced with challenges such as health issues or the loss of loved ones. They come to see that while life may never be entirely predictable, it is always full of new possibilities waiting to be discovered. For many, spirituality or a deeper connection with their inner self also becomes more pronounced after 60. This shift in perspective can bring a greater sense of peace when facing life's changes, whether through religious beliefs, meditation, or simply a greater awareness of the present moment. Older adults often develop a more profound understanding of their place in the world and the transient nature of life's circumstances. This spiritual or reflective approach can make it easier to accept change, knowing that it is part of a larger journey. In conclusion, while change may have been a source of fear in earlier stages of life, after 60, many people come to embrace it with a sense of wisdom and resilience. They understand that change is not something to be feared, but something to be welcomed as an opportunity for growth, renewal, and greater fulfillment. Instead of resisting the inevitable, they learn to flow with life's currents, confident in their ability to adapt and thrive no matter what comes their way. This acceptance of change, paired with the wisdom gained from a lifetime of experiences, allows people in their 60s to navigate life's transitions with grace and courage, knowing that every change holds the potential for new beginnings. Conclusion: a new perspective after 60. Reaching the age of 60 is often a time of profound reflection and transformation. Many of the things that once seemed so important, chasing trends, competing with others, holding grudges, overworking, worrying about others' opinions, being too busy, and fearing change, begin to lose their significance. Instead, life after 60 becomes about embracing what truly matters: inner peace, meaningful relationships, personal fulfillment, and living authentically. This stage of life offers a unique opportunity to let go of the things that no longer serve you and to focus on what brings joy, contentment, and purpose. It's a time to celebrate the wisdom and insight that come with age, to appreciate the richness of life's journey, and to embrace the freedom that comes from knowing who you are and what truly matters. After 60, life isn't about chasing after things that don't make sense anymore. It's about living fully, deeply, and with a sense of gratitude for the present moment. And that perhaps is one of the greatest gifts of aging. Thank you for watching the entire video. If you find these stories inspiring and motivating, please comment one. If not, comment 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time.